So it is now officially laptop season. There have been a ton of new laptops that have been released, and I know that a good amount of you guys are probably going to be interested in buying one sometime here in the near future. So in today's video, we're going to be going over some of the biggest things that can help you get the best deal for your money when it comes to buying your next laptop. Now, before we get into the video, I just want to remind you guys that if you do end up enjoying the content, to make sure to leave a like on the video, and if you do want to see more content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you have any other questions about laptops or general tech questions, make sure to join the channel Discord linked down below. We have made a really neat ticket system that allows you to have a one-on-one conversation with one of the server's PC helpers to hopefully help you with your decisions. If you have any other questions or comments about my channel or my content, feel free to put those in the comment section down below. Alright, now that I'm done with that little spiel, let's get into the video. So one of the first things that I always tell people before they buy a laptop is to know what they need. Now, this might seem like an oversimplistic statement, but in reality, most people never really assess what they need to do on their PC and how that translates into the type of laptop that they're going to be buying. So for instance, if someone says that they're going to want a gaming laptop, it's kind of hard to get a read on what they want. Gaming in general is a pretty broad term, and different games need different hardware. Also, by saying that you want a gaming laptop within a certain price range, you neglect a lot of important factors, things such as form factor, display resolution, keyboard, ports, and more. Needlessly, getting things that may not matter to you in your usage of the laptop is a pretty common thing people end up overpaying for. Without assessing your needs strictly, you might end up overspending on your laptop or get a laptop that doesn't do exactly what you need it to do. Assessing needs in general is hard. I wish I could give a blanket formula for everyone or just have 3 or 4 laptops that I recommend to people, but the fact is everyone has different use cases and different things they want to do on their laptop, and everyone has different budgets that they are willing to spend on a new machine. So I'm going to try my best to help you evaluate what kind of things you want to prioritize depending on your use cases. So what I end up saying to most people is just to look over the core programs that they are going to be using and look at the recommended specs for those programs. You should be buying a system that is a good bit better than the recommended specs of the programs that you want to run. But there are going to be a couple of things that, depending on how you are planning to use the laptop, you may want to consider when assessing your needs. If you're someone who's just going to be writing emails and making spreadsheets, you aren't going to need a very beefy system. You could honestly get a Chromebook and it would work fine for what you need it to do, because as long as you have a semi-decent CPU and access to the internet, you should be fine doing your work and watching some Netflix on the side. If you're a gamer, then you're probably going to want to look for a laptop with a good CPU and GPU along with a high refresh rate display, since those things are going to impact your gaming experience the most. And if you are a professional, i.e. someone who is doing stuff like video rendering, animation, photo editing, or streaming, you're most likely going to want to buy a system with a good amount of ports, a color accurate display, and depending on the work, any good CPU with a lower end dedicated GPU. Now again, I know that there are going to be a bunch of people with a mix of things that they want to do on their laptops, and that outline may not have been exactly what you're looking for. But if you are someone who would like some help with a solid laptop recommendation, make sure to head over to the channel Discord server that is linked in the description below. Again, we have a cool ticket system in place so you can get the help that you need. One way that I have been seeing people throw away their money is by paying more for branding, and this is very apparent in the CPU space. Right now, 2 main companies make laptop CPUs, and those are Intel and AMD. I've talked to a good bit of salesmen at my local micro center and other people in the hardware sales business, and a lot of them end up saying that people will just pay more for less performance with Intel, even though they tell the customer to take a look at the AMD stuff. Recently, AMD has come out with some amazing mobile processors, and in general, they're going for a good bit cheaper while being more power efficient and having around the same, if not better, performance than a comparative Intel mobile CPU. Intel has kind of been the king for a long time, so people have a predisposition for those CPUs. But if you want to save your money, make sure you sit down and take a look at the performance differences between the CPUs that you are considering. AMD and Intel don't function differently at an abstract level. They all run the same programs that will do all the same stuff. It just comes down to who built the better CPU for that generation. So just make sure you do your own research when it comes to a CPU and don't just look at the brand or the stickers on the laptop. Also, if you're not looking at overspending, don't go for the premium stuff. I know Razer laptops are nice and have a bunch of cool stuff that goes along with them, but there are tons of other laptops out there that are going to give you close to the same feature set and specs at a lower price than a premium laptop. Companies like Asus and their ROG Zephyrus lineup have been huge recommendations from me because of their price performance along with their form factor, port selection, and build quality. While Razer usually has better cooling solutions and the sweet all aluminum unibody chassis, I still ended up buying an Asus ROG Zephyrus G15 for myself over something like a similarly priced Razer laptop, because at the same price I'm getting way better specs, more ports, and more upgradability compared to a Razer Blade laptop. If you want to see my full review on my G15 and its comparison to a Razer Blade laptop, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Now, while I use Razer as my example for premium, almost every company has their set of premium laptops. So again, just make sure you look out for it and make sure you compare what you want to buy with other items on the market, so you don't spend all of your money on something that is going to perform at the same level as a $1,200 laptop. Another huge piece of advice that I want to give you that kind of ties in with the whole premium thing is that the high end really isn't worth it unless you need that level of performance now to do your work. It's a common thing for people to spend a ton of money on a gaming system so that they are good for the future, which in general is a very bad idea. In all honesty, it makes way more sense to buy a new mid-range laptop every 3 to 4 years than buying a high-end gaming laptop and waiting 6 to 7 years to upgrade. In general, the performance of computers increases by a good margin every year. So even if you buy a high-end system 1 year, within the next 2 to 3 years, a mid-range laptop is going to be around the same performance as the high-end one you bought. So in terms of saving money as time goes on, it makes way more sense to spend $1,200 to $1,600 on a laptop every 3 to 4 years than spending $2,500 on a machine every 6 to 7 years, because by that time your machine is going to be insanely slow compared to what else is on the market. The last and final thing I'm going to say is to sit down and do your research on it. It astounds me the number of people who aren't willing to do a quick Google search and compare performance numbers to each other. Most of the time you aren't going to have to do any of the comparing yourself anyways. Channels like Dave2D and Matthew Moniz are some of my favorite laptop channels to watch, and they do amazing reviews and comparisons on different laptops. They have graphs and performance numbers to compare a bunch of different laptop models, which are super helpful if you're trying to find a system that best fits your budget and other needs while hitting a certain performance level. Their channels will be linked down in the description. So again, make sure that you just take a look around with what is out there on the market and do your comparisons. Just because something looks nice and is at your price range doesn't mean that you should buy it. So thanks again for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. It helps this video get recommended to more people who might want to watch this. And if you guys want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you guys have any sort of questions, make sure to leave those down in the comment section below. I would love to answer them. Anyways, thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.